Williams is going to join us to talk about the heavyweight division in general, but now we're going to go to Las Vegas last night, early hours of this morning our time, to see Lisandro Diaz of Argentina, who was a late replacement coming in to be the next opponent for Audley Harrison. What happened? This did. Simon Brotherton commentating.
Here we go then for 8 rounds of boxing. It's 24 hours before the big fight of the weekend between Evander Holyfield and James Toney, but Harrison does get to fight in the big arena at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, one of the big resort hotels on the Strip. One thing to note about Lisandro Diaz, who was born in Buenos Aires but now fights out of Los Angeles. He does like to move forward. He has got a punch on him as well. But of course, in moving forward and looking to land that punch, he can, in turn, leave himself open. Big haymaking left hand there from Diaz. Harrison already holding the centre of the ring here. He's the bigger man physically, as you can see quite clearly. Diaz is going to need to get as close as he can to Harrison to find a way through. First good combination of the fight from the Olympic champion. That was a terrific shot, flush on the face, well taken by Diaz. One thing you can say about Argentinian fighters is that they're tough and durable. Already Diaz's face looks a little pink from the first couple of punches that have landed from Audley Harrison. Audley Harrison's not really going to be in any great rush here, but that was a good combination once again, which has been well absorbed by Diaz. Must be said as well that this should be a fairly straightforward fight for Audley Harrison.
Work out, fellas, work out.
Whilst he has made a cautious start to the bout, he certainly is in the ascendancy early on.
Stop! Go back, let him up. There we go.
Diaz has been a professional for just under 18 months. With 6 stoppage victories, has shown that he can pack a punch, although it is at a lower level. Harrison content to take his time, clearly, as he just makes sure that he's well aware of what his opponent has to offer. As I said before, he was given the fight at 48 hours notice. The original opponent, Tommy Connolly, ruled out on medical grounds. Harrison keeping his arms down low there, just
work out, stop, step back,
guarding the kidneys.
Keep him up, baby. Keep him up.
Final few seconds of the opening round, and a very steady opening round, but what punches have been thrown, and what punches have connected, rather, have been thrown by Audley Harrison. This fight on the undercard of a bout between Jamil McCline and Cedric Boswell. Audley Harrison quite vocal before the fight in the 2 days leading up to it. Quite critical of other British heavyweights for staying at home and fighting in the UK, accusing them of lacking ambition. And ambition, of course, is something you couldn't accuse Harrison of lacking. Good straight left hand, neat combination there from Harrison, just rocking Diaz back slightly on his heels. Never really in any trouble, though, in that first round. Harrison, the southpaw, just pouring away in the opening exchanges. Diaz clearly has got a problem here in just getting past and getting into range of Audley Harrison. Left uppercut there from Harrison.
Work out! Stop! Stop wrestling, fellas. Stop wrestling. There we go. Step back.
low blow there from Lisandro Diaz, noted by the referee and a few people in the crowd as well. Harrison, though, not troubled by it.
Let him up.
Just hanging on to buy himself a couple of seconds. Covering up well, the Olympic champion. He is a bit of a wild swinger, isn't he, Diaz? That no doubt will be why Audley Harrison is showing a degree of caution in the early couple of rounds.
Stop the back, fellas. Come on, 15. Watch your heads, fellas. Watch your heads now.
Say you can't
Watch
hit
your
what you
head.
can't see, but there's not much chance of that problem for Audley Harrison in this fight this evening. Harrison still seems rather reluctant to move forward and take the fight to his opponent, though. Diaz just trying to tee himself up.
Work out, work out. Don't hold him, don't push him down. Stop!
It's all just getting a little bit messy in there.
Stop.
Diaz will really have felt that one, but it's a warning there for Audley Harrison from the referee for a low blow.
You okay? All right, here we go. You got to keep him up too, okay? Here we go. Touch gloves, fellas. Come on, let's keep it clean.
Still inside the second round, and Diaz looks as if he's been a little bit further than that, if you see the state of his face already, as Audley Harrison just picks him off, jabbing to his face, and has a good right hand and then a left hook from Audley Harrison as well. Harrison warming up, and so the crowd. Good combination. He does have fast hands for a big man. Closing seconds of the second round, and Audley Harrison just stepping it up now. Well, it wasn't the cleanest of rounds, a little bit messy for the most part, but Audley Harrison did get things moving in the closing 30 seconds or so with a good combination.
Give me one more. When you get the shots off, you work.
Don't hold them down. Keep them up.
Correct. Okay. So you get them off, they work. Okay. But you got to get the shots off, and don't lay around.
Thel Torrance and Kenny Kroom, the trainers for Audley Harrison, in the corner there. All seems as if they have everything under control, and from what we've seen in the fight so far, Harrison does, and you would like to think that this certainly won't go anywhere near the distance, because at the moment Diaz is the man who's having to take a few weighty punches, although he hasn't been in trouble from any of them as yet. Harrison seems to be on something of an air mile collecting spree at the moment, having set himself up for a fight in Australia in August, which didn't come off in the end through no fault of his own. Then he was in Miami last month with a third round victory over Quinn Navarre. Now this one. He's looking for 2 or 3 other fights before the turn of the year as well. The record's pretty good for Audley Harrison, 12 wins and no losses so far. But he needs to start stepping up in class. Beginning to follow Diaz around the ring and really start to assert his authority in this fight. Diaz just can't really get near Harrison. Did have a measure of success there, though.
Keep him up. Watch your head.
Audley Harrison just covering up, getting the defences up.
Step back, fellas. Here we go, King.
All of Diaz's fights so far in his professional career have been in California or Nevada, so it's very much a home fight for him.
Don't hold him, don't hold him.
And for Audley Harrison, some valuable exposure on United States television, as well as here in the UK, of course. But he needs to impress. And so far, he's been steady rather than spectacular in this particular bout. Diaz looks a very hittable target.
Don't hold him.
Harrison could do with just upping the work rate a little bit here. Able to deflect the blows there from Lisandro Diaz. Also a little bit more awkward for Diaz, the fact that Audley Harrison is a southpaw. A round of posturing rather than punching there, but still Audley Harrison remains in control of this fight. He looks comfortable, and maybe that's part of the problem. He needs to move on from being comfortable to actually winning it.
Okay. Take a deep breath. Look. Are you letting the guy build up some confidence in him? Okay? Don't let this guy build no confidence. Step to the guy. You're getting closer. Get inside. Use your jab and get in.
Good advice there from the corner. Don't allow Lisandro Diaz to build up in any confidence. And of course, that's what he will do the longer the fight goes on here in the scheduled 8-rounder. And as you can see there, Diaz managed to get a few shots off and to land some of them as well. Harrison not troubled by them particularly, but he won't want to take too many punches. And this is an opponent who Harrison really ought to be able to beat without too much difficulty. Biggest name on Diaz's record, he fought the 2002 National Golden Gloves champion Malcolm Tan, but he was knocked down in the second round and then went down to a heavy points loss. Hasn't been close to being put down by Audley Harrison so far. As we enter the 4th round of this fight at Mandalay Bay. Harrison clearly a little bit wary of the fact that Diaz has the proverbial puncher's chance, but he ought to rely on his own skills a little bit more, perhaps. Harrison slowly progressing in the professional ranks, and his weight steadily coming down as well over time, indicating that he's training more and taking things more seriously. And there's some fierce body punches there. Good left uppercut as well. Excellent combination. 2 uppercuts and down goes Diaz.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Certainly doesn't look comfortable after that tirade from Audley Harrison, and the referee has waved it off. For the first time in the fight, Lisandro Diaz put in trouble by the Olympic super heavyweight champion Audley Harrison, and it was an impressive combination of punches. And the referee deciding that Lisandro Diaz had seen enough. Audley Harrison makes it 13 wins out of 13. It'll be interesting to hear what he and, in fact, the American public made of that fight. Well, he certainly seems happy enough. Having cruised to what turned out to be a fairly comfortable victory, or should I say a very comfortable victory. Great variety of punches there. 2 left uppercuts really did the damage, and then the left hook to the temple, finally finishing off Diaz. That was a good finish from Audley Harrison's point of view. Cautious start to the fight, and then with a good combination finish of lethal punches to which Diaz had no reply. But Harrison now, with 13 wins to his record, will need to think about starting to move up in class. We shouldn't forget that Lennox Lewis became the European champion in his 14th fight and the British champion in his 15th.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time, 1 minute 32 seconds into round number 4. Referee Kenny Bayless calls a halt to the action. And your winner by technical knockout is Audley, the enforcer, Harrison.
The learning curve continues, and Audley Harrison continues to win.
Sure does. Plenty of food for thought there. We'll chew it over in a moment with Danny Williams amongst others. But let's come back to the events here tonight at the Alexandra Palace and see Herbie Hyde's fight here tonight against Alex Vasilev, who's also from Russia. So you've seen